evening and welcome to another edition of the Wright Experience. I'm Dr. William T. Wright Jr., the founder and host of this show. We're absolutely excited as we begin actually our fourth year of broadcasting and bringing this content to you. Tonight is episode number 116, believe it or not, and I'm certainly thrilled to have our guest that we'll be bringing to you shortly. I met this gentleman in one of our schools in my new line of work in Sumter, South Carolina. We actually met last school year, and I am excited to have him aboard for this show on this evening. In addition to the fact that we have the same last name, we find more and more that we talk, that we have some other things in common as well. My guest tonight is Mr. Ashley Wright, who is the president of Wright Level Leadership. Ashley has 26 years of experience in manufacturing, with 20 of those years being in organizational leadership. He believes that personal growth and development in leadership is a lifelong journey. Everyone has the potential to be an effective and influential leader in an organization, and he believes that partnering with you, the customer, helps you to unleash that full potential. And with his 26 years in manufacturing, including 20 years as an organizational leader, he's learned over the years that he has gained valuable experience of learning through many successes and failures over the career. Each experience has been fundamental in shaping the leader he is today. Mr. Wright founded Wright Level Leadership to allow him to take his experiences and help others through coaching and leadership development. John Maxwell says, you will experience success in your career, but you will experience significance through helping others. And once you have tasted significance, success will never be enough. And through his certification on the Maxwell leadership team and leveraging the teachings of John Maxwell, he is in the pursuit of significance. And as a Maxwell leadership certified coach, teacher, and speaker, Mr. Wright offers workshops, seminars, DISC personality assessments, and coaching. And he also aids personal and professional growth through study and practical application of John C. Maxwell's proven leadership methods. Mr. Wright is also the owner and senior recruiter for Top Wood Jobs, which is a recruiting firm that supports the woods products industry worldwide, and he helps them recruit top talent. Mr. Ashley Wright lives in Sumter, South Carolina, with his wife of 26 years and his 17-year-old daughter. And at this time, I'd like to welcome to the Wright Experience are we first cousins or second cousins? Or Mr. Ashley Wright, welcome to the
another mother, right?
There you go. There you go. Absolutely. So welcome aboard. Certainly glad to have you here. We've been trying to make this work for a long time. I'm glad our schedules aligned to be able to do this today.
Yes, sir. Well, I am honored to be a part of the podcast, and I am so grateful you asked me to be a part. Yes, you're right. We've been talking about this for, I don't know, it seems like 6 to 8 months, and just have not had calendars align and other events come up. But tonight it's going to happen, and I have been looking forward to this since we picked our date, and I knew it was going to be a part of it. So I appreciate you having me on. Like I said, I'm honored to be here.
Thank you. So we talked a little bit about a couple of things, and you do motivational speaking, and you do a lot of work with helping organizations assess themselves and get better. But let's just start out, if you will, tonight talking about Wright Level Leadership and the work, the specific work that you do through that organization.
Okay. Well, so as you alluded to in the introduction, and I appreciate that that introduction you read, but in 2022, I decided to join at that time, John Maxwell team. Now it's Maxwell Leadership. But I had been following John Maxwell's teaching since the late 90s. You know, he talks about often these people that get the CDs and you listen to them and all that kind of stuff. And I was part of that, and I knew about his teachings and knew, you know, that the thing that I really, really enjoyed about Maxwell's teachings, leadership teachings, self-development teachings as they're practical. You know, there's nothing in them that is undoable that the common person could not do. Probably the biggest thing is intentionality. It takes being intentional to grow, and you just have to apply these things. So I had, you know, kind of given up a career in manufacturing with a desire to do something bigger, better. Just felt like there was something else I was needing to do. Got an email from Maxwell Leadership. I had never seen an email from. All of a sudden, you know, I'm getting my advisor on the phone, and we're talking about joining Maxwell Leadership. And I told the guys, like, well, it's, you know, it's an investment. Let me think about it. Went, you know, got with my wife, said, look, this is what we got going on. She's like, well, why don't we just go do it? You know, figure it out and we'll get it going. So that started this journey. Right level leadership kind of came on the play on names. I can appreciate the Wright experience because you own it as well.
There you go.
I pulled that out and just, you know, right level leadership. And I believe that everybody is at a level in their leadership journey, personal growth level. My job, if we partner, if we work together, is to help you get to that right level, and no pun intended. And my little tagline is unleash your potential. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like everybody's got that in them. You've got to have the opportunity. You got to have the tools. You got to have the belief in yourself that you can develop yourself to be a person of, you know, substantial leadership. Doesn't matter if it's in your family, if it's in an organization, as if it's in a Fortune 500 company. There's always that room to do that. My 26 years of experience, I had seen and been a part of many different leadership groups, and had led and been supported by some great people. And I was feeling this need that there's not so much emphasis on today's time. And I had even seen it in the company that I work for. When I was coming up and growing as a leader, it was literally every year, you know, I would have an opportunity to go off somewhere and get supervisor training or leadership training or managerial training. And probably 10 years ago, even as a plant manager, I felt the opportunities to send my up and coming leaders to get this training was just, you know, going by the wayside. And I couldn't tell if it was just my company or it was the culture in general. What I found is there really was kind of a backseat of, we'll just put people that we feel are qualified in leadership roles and make them lead. And they may be good troubleshooters, but a lot of times they didn't know how to relate to people. And let's face it, if you can't relate to people, you can be a great troubleshooter, but it's tough to lead people effectively if you cannot relate to people, work with people, value people, help people grow. And that's what I saw the need was. So I kind of put all that together, develop right level leadership. And I've got tools to help people do that through, you know, any really means. So that's kind of the story behind right level leadership and the things that I offer. You know, so as a Maxwell leader, you are a speaker, a trainer, and a coach. You do coaching. Where I have found the greatest fulfillment really is through one-on-one coaching, both professionally and personally. I love doing that because the essence behind coaching is basically taking somebody from where they are in reality and helping them get to where they want to be. You know, but it's a lot of them coming with the plan, and I'm there as kind of an outsider to help guide and promote and push those individuals. Also do personality assessments, that DISC or DISC personality assessments. Actually, I mean, I love doing that. And the reason I love doing that is because you answer questions and the feedback that you get from that is so, most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, dead on. And it just helps people understand who they are, how they're wired, what makes them tick, and then helps when I relate to you. If I can pick up on some of those things, it helps me to be a better communicator and relate to you better. Right. And then getting into some of the trainings and the Maxwell Leadership, I have all the curriculum there, obviously top-notch leadership development stuff. So I do lunch and learns or masterminds and those type things, and then along with the speaking as well. So yeah, it's a lot of opportunities, a lot to offer, but it's a lot when I go to talk to a client, a potential client, that I can offer to help them out.
Now you mentioned something. I'm going to use William's words, but we'll kind of get there. You talked about sometimes leaders being. This is not exactly what you said, but this is my interpretation. Leaders being sometimes thrust into positions, and they might be good troubleshooters, but the relatability piece is something that needs work. You know, how you interact with people in your organization, how you motivate them to be their best selves. So speak to that for us a minute. How do we get people who may have the training and I might have the degree that I need or the certification that I need to be a leader, but how do we get them over the hump of being able to motivate people to be their best selves?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, there's a lot of it of there has to be some intentionality from the individual.
Okay.
Because and a reason I say that, so individuals put in leadership position, I feel like you either get there and you want to grow, be better as a leader, and my definition, not stealing someone else's that I know, is leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. If you are influencing someone positively or negatively, you are leading that person. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the end game, especially if you are leading people and helping them to be successful, then you want to lead them well and you want to influence them well. If you don't have all the tools for that, you have to make a conscious decision to go find that. You have to develop. So leadership also, I feel, is a lifelong journey of growth. And you don't stop when you walk out of high school. You don't stop when you walk out of college. You don't stop 3 years into your profession because you got it all. You have to decide to learn each and every day to grow yourself. And if you're doing that with intentionality, you cannot help but to find things that make you better as a person, as a leader, help you be relatable, help you to understand that and grow into that role. It's not something that comes overnight. It's not something that happens easily. As I said, and I'll probably say it a lot tonight, is intentionality is key, because if it's up to me to do a lot of it, I can be told to go learn. I can go be told to read a book. The other part of that is I can go read that book and not take anything out of it. I have to dig into it and take the gems out of it and start applying it in my life and make me better. So, and I think anybody can do that. 17-year-old to 105-year-old, if they still want to learn and grow, you got, and you have the tools and the ability to do that.
So you've kind of done this already, but if you are willing to, we'll expound on it a little bit. So if we're trying to define leadership in 2024 and beyond, what is it actually?
Yeah, and I'll go back to what I said. I'm sorry I jumped the gun on a little bit, okay, but right. Leadership is influence, and it's common within the Maxwell Leadership Group. You hear it a lot. John Maxwell certainly believes in it, but for the amount of time that I have studied leadership, personal growth, listened to not only John Maxwell but other people talk about the definition of leadership and when you boil it all down, what are you trying to do? You are influencing people, and as I said, you are either influencing them negatively or positively. Your choice. But to be a successful leader, one that people want to be around, one that people come back to and say that you really had an impact on their lives and made them better, made their environment better, that positive influence is that leadership that everybody's trying to get to. It's not soft leadership. You can positively influence someone with love and hold them accountable, and do everything around that to achieve goals. It's not that you have to be soft, but you have to lead them well, and you have to have their best intentions in your mind. Leadership is not about you, really. It's about the people you lead. And I think I don't want to go another place that we may be going later, but I truly feel that, if a leader has their intention, their best intentions in mind, and that's who they're looking out for, that the red flag should be going up. Leadership is tough, and it's tough because you are supporting the people around you more. They need to be your best intentions, not yourself. And that's a give and take. That's giving up a lot of power to the people that you lead, to influence them and empower them. But ultimately, they're going to make you better because you're pouring into them. So.
Do you think everybody gets that though? Do you think people who are observing leaders, let's say it that way, do you think they really understand that true leadership is, as you said, giving it up to people that lead for you or under your guidance?
No, I don't. And I think that's what people struggle with.
Sure.
There's so much, and through my career, through my professional career, through my learning, I had aspects of this to where you just, as a leader, you feel like you have to have all the answers.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, an effective leader leans on its team, leans on the people around them to have the answers, and go to them and just say, hey, be humble enough and be open enough to say, I don't have all the answers. There is experience in this room to help me be better, and I need to learn from that, and I need to leverage that. So let's help each other out, and that's a big step. And some people don't like that, and some people can't give up that power because that's exactly what they feel like they're doing. They're giving up the power where really you are empowering people that may change for the better because of it and make you better, So, yep.
What an amazing point. Thank you for that. Thank you for expounding on that with me. So you got an annual event that I've heard about, read a little bit about. Tell us about it. Live to Lead, I think it's called.
Yeah. So thank you for segueing into that. So this year, 2024, Sumter, we hosted Sumter Live to Lead for the annual event, and we're hoping to make this an annual event, grow it bigger and bigger. But it's a rebroadcast of a live event that happens every October in Atlanta, where Maxwell Leadership pulls together 4 or 5 keynote speakers, usually some of the most dynamic, most influential leadership development speakers, motivational speakers. And then it's a 4 or 5 hour event. And it's just a day of growth, a day of learning, a day just to hear about leadership. I've been to, now this year was my 4th year. To go back to a favorite coach of mine, Jimmy Valvano, he said, if a full day is you need to think, you need to laugh, and you need to cry. Yeah. The first Live to Lead, I thought, I laughed and I cried. And I was like, this thing is great. And every year it has gotten better, and it is just expounded upon that. So from that standpoint, it's a great event. But when we brought it to Sumter, one of the aspects that I thought would really make it fulfilling or influential, let me say that, influential to someone coming to it, because I did not want someone to get off work, go to an event for 4 or 5 hours, sit there, watch a screen, listen to some people talk, go home and feel good about being away from work for 4 or 5 hours. I wanted to give the audience, the attenders, the chance to digest as much of that information as they possibly could. And the way that I thought we could do that was to have live leaders from our community kind of do a 10 to 15 minute breakout session. We called it think tank time on the key points of the keynote speaker. So speaking was 35 to 40 minutes. Everybody watched that. And then we had some very key leaders in our local area lead a 10 to 15 minute kind of deep dive into the key points that the keynote speaker said. And I think it made it relevant. We a lot of it was basically, round table discussion, and then we reported out. So you had, 10 tables, 8 tables coming back and sharing within. So you heard the keynote speaker share, then you heard some real life sharing inside the facility. of how they got the information they did from the keynote speakers. And I thought it was really good. I thought the day went well. In my mind, on a scale from 1 to 10, it was an 11. I mean, it was
okay, very good.
Graybird Media did the production. It was phenomenal. It was flawless. It really was good. We did the Hive at Lavender Estate was the venue, which was a great venue for the event. So from that standpoint, that was perfect. And then, you know, just the material and the way it was delivered and watching the people get engaged, because you never know when people are watching a rebroadcast. It's not live, it's not there, and you just kind of have a how's this going to be taken? And it was funny because for me, I was sitting in the back of the room, and when I saw the cameras go up taking pictures of the slides, I was like, they're in it, you know, they're getting the information like they want to do it, and it was phenomenal. So we're going to do it again in January, and maybe do a couple private sessions as well, and kind of leverage this thing throughout the community. We want to do one large, you know, pub event, ticket sales, that kind. I don't know the speakers this year. I wish I had more information, but typically we don't get that information until about May. I'll have the lineup and we'll start promoting it this year, but we'll pick it up in January 2025. The whole idea is to start your year off with a kind of a kick in the seat for leadership, and start your year off right, shot in the arm with some good leadership facts and some information to help you make your year better. So we like the January time frame. But no, it was a phenomenal event, and excited to bring it back year after year and grow this thing and get more people involved with it and more influence out there.
Wonderful. So sounds like that's a future growth thing that we'll see from many years to come, and that's
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's very good. And as we get closer to that, maybe we'll do a rerun, get you back on the show to talk about it a little bit more closer we get to the event.
I would appreciate that. Yeah, that would be fun.
Let's shift gears, kind of, sort of, not really, but kind of, sort of. So, you know, I've noticed in working with you over these past few months that you're really big on when you get the opportunity to speak to our young folks. You know, we don't ever have to beg you. You come and you talk to them and you try to impart some wisdom into them and so forth. But let's talk about maybe an up and coming leader, somebody that, you know, we've identified. You know how we do in the church house and in the schoolhouse. Sometimes we identify a person and we say, you know, you keep on doing what you're doing, you're going to be a big time person one day, or you're going to be a leader, or you're going to be president of the United States, whatever it is that we tell children. But what are some things someone who is aspiring to be a leader, be they teenager, be they, you know, an adult mid-career or whatever, what are some kind of go-tos that you think are important?
For developing them, is that kind of where we're going?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So, so yes, to go back, I love speaking to the young people. And the reason being is because to plant seeds in those minds and have them kind of fester and grow as they grow to be professionals or whatever they're going to be.
Right.
You know, I love having that opportunity to have that, you know, that influence on them. So yes, anytime I get a chance to, I love doing that. But I think one of the programs that the school system have that kind of speaks to what you're talking about is, you know, that Golden Apple Award, where we recognize people with character for what they're doing. And when you pick that out and you single that out and say, look, we're going to celebrate that, you know, we are setting a precedence in those people's mind that, or those young people's mind, that what they're doing to treat people with dignity and respect, to serve leader, to be a servant leader, do things that they don't typically do, and do it with an you know, a grateful heart. Basically, you know, when you listen to the people give their testimonies and why they're doing that, you know, that starts it off on the right path. But it can't stop there. And I think that's where I was going to get into answering the question, that we have to look out for those people or those young folks and give them those opportunities and continue to grow it, because where they are now is very, very fragile. And I don't say that to be derogatory, but let the wrong person come along, let the wrong event happen in their life, start taking them down a wrong path, and they look back in 10 years and they may not even recognize themselves. So you got to continue to put people in the right environment. You got to continue to have that influence around them. And then they have to have that willingness to continue to grow. We talked about it earlier. And I think those people that are on that track and have that belief, we have to continue to give them that opportunity to grow that ability in them so that they can be good leaders, good people in our society, and value people. And if they get that at a very young age, it's hard to drop that when you get older and older because it becomes natural to you. But I do think it takes some real effort and it takes some intentionality. And there it is again, but you got to have it and you got to grow them that way. But I think there's a lot out there that we can offer, anybody that wants to continue to grow and develop that skill that they have kind of just maybe realized in junior high and high school that, hey, I can do this and it feels good,
Yeah. What do you think about, in addition to this intentionality? You've been intentional about using that word because it is absolutely necessary. I totally agree. But what about surrounding yourself with folks who can mentor and lead you? Is that important for people who are looking to take the next steps?
It is. I mean, it's so important. I think, it's the old saying, and it's so true, that you become a product of the people that you're with. You start running with the wrong crowd, you'll be part of the wrong crowd, like it or not. You start running with people of like interest and doing the things that are positive, and you surround yourself with that. You start picking up some of those traits, and you start growing just by being in proximity of those people. So, yeah, getting in group, aware of those people are around you, and seek those people out. Man, that is so critically important, especially in a young professional's life. Let's take it even out of the school and get into your young professional.
Right.
Finding those people that have been successful in your line of work and kind of hitching yourself to them and trying to learn from their experience and asking questions. And don't go into it with I don't need to ask any questions, but to go into it with, I want to learn from this person. I don't want to have to go through what they went through. Let me learn from it so my learning curve can be quicker and easier. Man, I mean, that's the recipe for success right there, especially if you're wanting to get into a role of leadership.
And it requires putting in the work, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
These things are typically not just handed to us. You don't wake up and become a leader. Whenever I'm asked about my journey, how did you get to where you are? I say, it was a relentless pursuit of what I'm ultimately doing that took, I think I'm in year 26 now in public school education. So, it doesn't happen overnight. So I thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Best way to say that is your overnight success took 26 years to get there, right?
There you go. There you go. I like that. I might borrow that one from you.
That'll work.
So, Mr. Wright, is there anything else that we've missed that you might want to share with our audience at this point?
As I said, I was excited about coming on the podcast, kind of just having some back and forth around leadership, personal growth. I mean, we've hit some key points. I could speak all night on some of the things. We start going down these rabbit holes around, what's important and those type things. But, I do think from a standpoint of, wanting to grow yourself, no matter what walk of life you're in, where you are, what your profession is, there's always room to grow, and you just have to make that decision to do it, to grow, pick a book up, find a method to do it, and just start walking that path. You're going to change yourself for the better. You can't help but to do that. And it's so important. And, if there's anything that I would say as a leader, as a person, and someone wants to be better, is the key to that is being a lifelong learner. You got to continue to grow. And if you do that, your leadership skills will develop and people will want to be around you and want to be led by you. And I think that's so key.
And that's even if you're 57 like me and you probably don't have 26 years left to lead. How about
Sure.
that?
Yes, sir.
That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
That's right. That's so key. Lifelong learning is the way you described it, and that's so important for sure. So if you'll hold on with me for just a minute, we'll come back and close out the show.
All right.
As you can see, we continue to bring you the very best guests we can find here on the Wright Experience. We're looking forward to hearing from you as you come across folks that you'd like to see us interview and give an opportunity on this podcast. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me to let me know who those people are, and we'll try our best to fit them in. We are booking right now for the months of March, April, and May. And so we're looking forward to adding some more amazing guests to this work that we're doing. I'm excited that we're going into our 4th year. Our audience is growing by leaps and bounds, and certainly I am very pleased and blessed to know that that's occurring. Mr. Wright, thank you so much, my friend, for being here. Talk to us about if somebody's interested in getting with you to take advantage of your services, be it the motivational speaking, be it the coaching, all of that work that you're doing. How do they go about doing that?
Yeah, I would say the easiest way to do that is just through email. I mean, it's just Ashley at rightlevelleadership.com. It's easy to write, hard to say, I guess, but that's probably the easiest way to get in touch with me. And then from there, we'll just talk about services or, whatever needs to happen. But Ashley at rightlevelleadership.com is my email address.
Let's see if did we get that right?
Man, look at that. That's a service with a smile. Yes, sir. Right there.
Absolutely. So there it is for the audience. Ashley at rightlevelleadership.com. And want to thank you for being on the show. This platform is open. At such time you might want to come back, just let us know, and we'll make that available at any time. And to the Wright Experience audience, I want to say thank you for once again listening and being part of the show. As always, you may comment and click like and subscribe to our growing YouTube channel and all of that. And we appreciate every single one of you. Thank you and good evening.